The NBA playoffs are going on, and there's been a lot of great games. Just don't ask me about the Cavs or Magic, because I have not watched a single game. Now, it's not because I don't want to, but they weren't on national TV, and the ones that were, either the Angels were playing, and I'm a sad Angels fan, so I watched the Angels game, or I didn't realize that it was going to be on so early, and I slept through it, talking about Game 7 there. But as for all the other series, I've been pretty much locked into all of them, other than maybe Suns, Timberwolves. I watched maybe half of that series. So, like 2 games of it, and I wasn't really paying that close of attention. Those are just 2 teams that don't really grab me for whatever reason. But coming up is what I really want to talk about, and that's the upcoming series between the Mavericks and the Thunder. Now, if you've been with the channel before, you probably know that I'm a huge Dallas Mavericks fan. I don't try to hide it, and sometimes I can be a little bit biased. But today, I'm going to try to put that to the side and assess whether the Mavericks can beat the Thunder in a 7-game series. Now, obviously, the Thunder are the best team in the league. Just an editor's note real quick right there. I just said the Thunder were the best team in the league. I meant to say best team in the Western Conference because they're the number 1 seed in the Western Conference. But yeah, that's it. I'll let you guys get back to the video. And if you look at the season series against the Thunder with the Mavericks, you probably wouldn't have the most faith going into it. So first, let's look at the Thunder's weaknesses. Obviously, the first one that comes to mind is rebounding. That's the first one anyone always brings up. And I've kind of been of the opinion that that's not a huge deal. It might matter in a couple games here or there. But overall, they're so good at forcing turnovers and scoring in transition that I don't think the rebounding battle affects them that much. It kind of balances out for the most part, other than in a few games here or there. But when you're trying to find reasons why your favorite team can beat the Thunder, it stands out as one of the best ones. But is that really the case when it comes to the Mavericks? Now, the Thunder are one of the worst rebounding teams in the league, we know that. But the Mavericks aren't like some insane great rebounding team. So while I do think they have an edge, with Luka being one of the best rebounding guards in the league, and then a guy like Daniel Gafford, who can grab rebounds, and Derek Lively, can get some here and there. I do think they'll have the advantage on the glass over the Thunder, but I don't know if they'll be able to put it to as much use as I'd like. Now, that being said, I will say they had moments in the Clippers series where they grabbed like 3 offensive rebounds in a row, and they looked really good on that end, especially with a guy like, I'm blanking on his name, Josh Green. I love Josh Green. He's surprisingly good at grabbing offensive rebounds. I feel like he does it a lot. The stats might not back that up. He doesn't play that many minutes though. But I feel like whenever I watch him play, he's grabbing at least one, if not multiple offensive rebounds every game. He kind of comes flying in from the 3-point line and grabs them and kicks him back out. It's something he's really good at. So hopefully the Mavericks will kind of be able to put that to their advantage, from my perspective at least. But it's not something I'm really counting on. Now, if you just want to kind of match these teams up size for size, looking at the guards, Luka and Kyrie versus Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and who slots in as their 2 guard? Would that be Lou Dort, I guess? Would he be slotted in at the 2 guard? Well, he's going to be guarding Luka or Kyrie, probably. They're probably going to have, Shai on Kyrie and Lou Dort on Luka, something like that. But then they also have J-Dub. So a combination of those 3 guys is going to be guarding Kyrie and Luka, which is, that's scary. All 3 of them are good defenders. And Kyrie showed a lot in the Clippers series. He showed that he can play defense at a high level. Luka, sometimes you get a pretty solid defender. Sometimes you're getting a guy who's in foul trouble or tired and kind of just, he's playing defense. He's not terrible, but, he can get beat with a quick first step and, not the greatest defender out there. So as far as backcourt defense, I'll probably give that edge to the Thunder for sure. But the Mavericks do have a lot. But the Mavericks do have a lot to like there. PJ Washington can guard forwards and guards. Derek Jones Jr. can guard people on the perimeter, and did it very well against Paul George. Now, guarding Chet might be a problem. I don't know if Derek Lively or Daniel Gafford will really be able to step out on the perimeter and guard him. PJ Washington's kind of short. I think their best bet for guarding Chet would be a guy like Maxi Kleber. He did get injured in the Mavericks last game, so I don't exactly know if he'll be back or when he'll be back, or if he'll be good to go. I also like Kleber as an option for guarding Cat if they were to meet the Timberwolves in the Western Conference Final. Just throwing that in there. But it will be a tough matchup nonetheless. Now, overall, if I'm just looking at these teams, honestly, I do think it could go either way, but I'd probably give the edge to the Thunder. All bias aside, I think I'd have to give them that nod. They were the number one team in the league for a reason. And, you know, their roster, I kind of like their roster just a little bit more than Dallas if I take away my rose-colored glasses and stop seeing them as my favorite team for a second. But there's one thing that gives me some hope. And now this is a thing that I usually don't give that much weight. Obviously, I weigh it a little bit. But people talking about the Thunder and their lack of experience. Now, especially in the first round against the Pelicans team without Zion, I wasn't worried about that at all. And some people are saying those concerns are put to the rest just because they beat that team. And, you know, they showed it a little bit. But now this is kind of where I'm more hoping than projecting. I'm hoping they'll run into some issues with experience. I mean, how many players on their team have even played in the playoffs? There's Shea, Lou Dort, the corpse of Gordon Hayward. I like Gordon Hayward, but, you know, he hasn't been that great lately. He played well earlier in the season with the Hornets, so maybe he'll be able to turn it back on. But if you're me, you hope that he doesn't. And then, I don't even know if anyone else on the team... Oh, Bismack Biyombo, who didn't play in the first round, I don't think. And that might be it. Wait. I think Isaiah Joe, technically, has played in the playoffs before. Even though he didn't really play. Back when he was on the 76ers, which... If you're anything like me, you probably forgot that he played for the 76ers because he didn't really play on that team. But yeah, so if you're a Mavericks fan like me or want the Mavericks to win, those are probably the things that you're hoping the Mavericks can use to their advantage. Rebounding and experience. I mean, obviously the Mavericks have some young players on their team, like Derek Lively. He's a rookie. He's never played in the playoffs before this year. Josh Green, you know, he's a young guy, but he has actually played in the playoffs. He was with the Mavericks 2 years ago when they went to the Western Conference Finals. Kyrie, you know, Kyrie's won a championship. Kyrie's played in multiple championship series. You know, so that guy has lots of playoff experience. Luka's Luka. You know, can't knock him. Derek Jones Jr. has played in some important games. PJ Washington, actually. The Hornets didn't make the playoffs ever, right? Yeah, PJ Washington never played in the playoffs. But he's looked pretty good so far, and I'm not worried, you know. But really, at the end of the day, what I think it comes down to, and kind of what it always comes down to for the Mavericks, is can they hit threes? Can people other than Luka and Kyrie hit threes? Luka wasn't even really hitting threes against the Clippers, you know, but Luka can get his points in other ways. But if the Mavericks as a team aren't hitting their threes, they're not good. Is the simplest way of putting it. They get outscored because they shoot more threes than pretty much anyone in the league, except the Celtics, I think. Yeah, the Mavericks, I think, are the second most three-point shooting heavy team behind the Celtics. And when they're hitting threes, they look unstoppable. But when they're not hitting threes, it can look really rough out there sometimes, especially when they're not hitting threes and Luka's not having the best night. It can really be rough sometimes. So if they can keep the three-point shot rolling, if Maxi's healthy to play some defense on Chet, I do think the Mavericks have a really good chance. But the Thunder are a really good team, and it'll be a tough battle either way. Now you might be saying to yourself right now, I didn't provide anything of value this whole video. And you might be right. I kind of just talked for like 10 minutes about the Mavericks and Thunder and didn't really say anything all that important that you probably didn't already know. But really, I just wanted to get my thoughts out here and talk about the Mavericks and what they need to do if they want to beat the Thunder. And all I can really say at the end is that it'll be tough, They might not do it, but I think they can, and I think they will. I personally would pick the Mavericks in a 6 or 7 game series to beat the Thunder, facing off against the Nuggets and Timberwolves. Now that might be my bias showing a lot, but I truly think they can do it. And real quick before I go, the Nuggets Timberwolves game 1, dude, Anthony Edwards, freaking beast out there. But going into that game, I wanted the Nuggets to win, and I still kind of think they'll win the series. But during the course of the game, it shifted. I kind of wanted the Timberwolves to win after a specific play where Anthony Edwards got a tech called on him for like staring down. I think it was Reggie Jackson or something. That was like the weakest technical foul call I've ever seen. That was so stupid. Like after that play, I wanted the Timberwolves to win after that because I was just like, that pissed me off so much. I wanted Ant to win the game. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So if you made it this far, thanks for sticking around while I ramble on. If you're new, hey, maybe subscribe so you don't miss the next video. A lot of my videos are more well thought out than this, but I really just wanted to talk about the Mavericks for a little bit. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you later. Peace.